We're back. Surprise! Welcome back to the BSL. We are one best of three, one series through the round of 16's final Group D. And what a series it was. True Touch, kind of the favorite of this group, blasted his way out 2-0, two very quick series. Now we're moving on to what should actually be a pretty close series, honestly. I don't know what to expect, but we have two of our South American representatives going head-to-head. And we're going to get a chance to watch, I guess, BasTrO and Dienmax play. So both fantastic Peruvian players, but I don't know how to predict this. What do you think is going to happen here, Nyoken?
Yeah, I don't ever play Dienmax, Protoss versus Zerg. I don't watch him Protoss versus Zerg, so I'm not quite too sure of how he plays in that specific matchup. I know in Protoss versus Terran, he's either hit or miss. When he's on, I'm like, okay, can this guy be beaten? He just is really good. And then BasTrO, every time I play him, he just take bases all over the map. He's like Jae-Yoon. We've seen him in ZVP do the same thing, just build 10 hatches, macros like a king. So I think we're just going to have a big macro slugfest because that's generally how Dienmax plays versus me. But honestly, I don't know how his Protoss versus Zerg stands up right now.
Well, there's only one way to find out now, isn't there? That's my segue. We're going to get into the next game as soon as I remember to get into the next game. Because apparently I've not done that. We all get one, okay, guys? You guys aren't in the next game either, so cool it. Here we go. All right, I've joined the lobby. It's time. Our maps are going to be Gladiator, Sylphid, and Ground Zero, and Power Bond. I'm going to put that in as the fourth map in this best of three series. But let's start things out on Gladiator. It's going to be a Protoss versus Zerg between Dienmax and BasTrO. Best of three to advance on to face True Touch in the winner's match. So let's go. All right, here we go. Second series of the day, and starting in the bottom right in the, I guess this is magenta. This is BasTrO.
And in the top right, we've got the dark blue Protoss. It is Dienmax. When I play Dienmax on the ladder, generally he goes for some type of opener that gives him a slight early game lead, and then he techs into carriers. Now, obviously we're not going to see carriers in Protoss versus Zerg, but he may go in with the same idea where he wants to get an early game advantage, then try, instead of teching so hard, maybe take a lot of bases, and that would probably be one of the best styles you can go for versus BasTrO, because this guy's going to expand a lot, so you're going to need to match the bases versus him.
Yeah, I think for BasTrO, I usually characterize him as maybe the more, not macro focused, but you're right, he does like to expand a lot. So let's keep an eye on what the openings are going to be. Should just see an overpool out of BasTrO. Yeah, no surprise there.
Yeah, but Dienmax is doing what I've been waiting to see if anybody else is going to do. He sends out a second probe really quick to the natural. This is going to be, I'm shocked that that's a forge. I thought for sure sending this probe so fast, it was going to be a gate. But we have to remember that these players are both from South America. It's likely they play versus each other. So there may be some type of, I guess, back and forth between them, or knowledge that Dienmax has that we don't. And maybe BasTrO actually likes to cheese specifically versus him. So this is an interesting opener to go for the forge, despite sending out that second probe so fast.
Yeah, now I was a little bit confused there too, but we are going to have a pretty fast Nexus here. I don't think that he's scouted anything that should make him crazy, but what is this pylon doing on the other side of the map?
Yeah, we've got a pylon block. BasTrO doesn't care. He just puts it at the low ground. This is something yesterday that I thought Ghostudark was going to do, but he just was content with sitting in the main, getting more intel as opposed to blocking. So already we're seeing differing styles. Dienmax definitely wants to block the hatch, but because it's Gladiator, not a big deal to just take the low ground base. Now, how fast is the gas going to be for BasTrO? We're at 230 so far, no gas. We'll have to wait and see his timing. And Nexus just goes up.
Yeah, one thing I've seen is that you do the pylon block, but you let it finish. And Tasteless was telling me about this very, very tasteless build where you let the pylon block finish, and then you cannon at the top of the ramp. And obviously, it's very difficult to break up a ramp against cannons. And then you go cannon rush the third base to force a cancel there too. And this is the essentially the total strategy for Tasteless in all situations. Just like how and where do I build my cannon? But at least in this situation, we are not going to see any of that. And so thankfully, that will be because Dienmax is doing a good build.
Tasteless indeed loves his cannons, but Dienmax needs to get up a second cannon because BasTrO hid 4 links and he swooped around and the probe didn't see it. This is a free win for him right now if he goes. There was no probe in position. Now he's going to go, a little bit of an anti-tie. Oh, there's a gap at the top. What?
It's not a tie wall. He actually didn't commit with the rest of his lings because the probe was still blocking them. The cannon still goes down. The probe goes down. The pylon, give you a hint, it's going to go down. So, well, Mr. Zealot's going to pop out of this gateway just barely in time. But I think these Zerglings are still going to be able to get at least one probe and maybe run into the main.
I thought for sure that was a complete wall at the top. You can definitely tell that Dienmax expected that, but now he's got lings into the main. They've gotten like 3 probes now. How much damage can he get done? BasTrO back at his base. He has a hydrogen going down. Now the probe was out on the map. I don't know what happened to it. I assume it just died, but we don't know if he got a glimpse into the main. Did he see that the hydrogen actually started? We don't know yet, but BasTrO's following up this aggression with even more aggression, and Dienmax is in a world of trouble because cybernetics hasn't even started. Our econs, or our mineral income is really low. We've got 3 probes pulled off at the natural.
Wow, I am so scared. That pylon at the front, this is like when you did something good in NBA Jam. He's on fire. I can't believe this pylon is so low. Thankfully, it regains shields, but I mean, shields take full damage. So Hydra Boys, they're coming. And I think at this point, Dienmax probably knows that he's so vulnerable that he's got to worry about that. But he still only has 1 cannon at the front. So let's see if this second probe, or third probe, I guess, out on the map can scout what it needs to show Dienmax that he probably needs to be a little worried.
Yeah, Dienmax is in a very tough spot. He needs to tech because the only way you can match the Zerg is by teching up to Citadel. Luckily, this probe that I thought was going to scout nothing saw a Hydra pop out, and that's going to already give it away that BasTrO is going for some type of Hydra aggression. And now Dienmax will be able to spam out those cannons. Now he just needs to gauge how many cannons does he need. Is it 5? Is it 6? Is 3 enough? We still don't know how committed BasTrO is to this Hydra bust.
I would say that, 3 cannons is a nice entry-level number of cannons, but let's see. I agree. I'm also kind of interested to see what the final number of Hydras is, because if you spam them and when you only see like 5, I think the number is like 5 Hydras, then they can just like max drones again behind it, and you don't know if it's a fake or not. But this is pretty real. More Overlords on the way. Hydra speed about halfway done. It's a pretty close distance between these 2 bases, and already the Forge and the Gateway taking fire.
Yeah, probe got in, did get a glimpse into the main, saw no lair, sees that more Hydras have been pumped out. So he is building 5 cannons this time. He's got Citadel instantly, no Stargate. This is exactly what Dienmax needs to do, but he's got to get his Templar Archive up pretty soon because these Hydras are getting very high in number. Forge is going to go down, Gateway is going to go down, and he's got a lot of lings which can buffer a decent amount of the cannon shots. BasTrO may just be able to end it.
Yeah, he does definitely need way more cannons at this point. He's only got 3, 4, 5. I mean, the 4th and 5th are way up there, so maybe they won't come into play here. More and more Hydras. Actually, no, he's not rallying more and more Hydras across the map. He is actually just chilling on the Hydra count, maxing on drones, getting a 4th hatchery up behind this. But that's still quite a scary number of Hydralisks.
Yeah, this Zealot got in. Oh, here comes BasTrO. He's going to try and bust it, but this is 6 cannons. Yeah, he needs to back off. Dienmax got a Zealot into the natural, and unfortunately, we see that BasTrO's making drones, but at the time the Zealot went in, 4 Hydras popped out. So Dienmax actually thinks BasTrO's continuing to bust, but we see that he's powering really hard, and you can see Dienmax is respecting the bust. And meanwhile, BasTrO, he's taking a 4th base even. I forgot he's already got his mineral only.
Yeah. No, he already has that, and so he's on a 4th base, and this is a little ahead of schedule because he knows he's so safe behind this. Now, if you're DMX, you have to, A, build useless cannons because he doesn't need to build anymore. B, he's going to have to get Storm and iTemplar and everything to bust out because he's, soft contained in his main. And, okay, he actually does cancel one of those cannons warping in. So that's actually a really good read for DMX.
Yeah, and Dienmax or Castro setting up to take a 5th base at mid left. This guy, he just wants every base on the map. He's got 6 hatches any moment now once that goes up. I do like Dienmax's build. He instantly got his Templar Archive up pretty quickly. He's got a Templar already out, banking a bunch of energy. He's got a Stargate, which is quite interesting. I guess he's worried about a Muta switch. It's been so long that he's able to get into the main, so I don't mind the Stargate switch, but I wonder what he's going to go for. Are we just going to go for a Han Bang with mass Archons, or is it going to be a lot of Storm? What is he actually going to go for?
There was, for a while, there was this really slick Zealot Speed Archon build that Rain used to go for when he could fool his Zerg opponent into thinking that it was going to be the standard Gateway Man plus High Templar kind of push that Protoss is due to take a 3rd. But this isn't that. And also, we do have to worry about, obviously the Lurker follow-up coming through because observers are going to be in a premium at this point.
Yeah, Lurker aspect, 50% done. Castro's started +1 weapon on his Hydras. Meanwhile, Dienmax has not started +1 at all. And Protoss falling behind in upgrades versus Zerg, that's going to be extremely painful. But it's already painful because once the Lurkers come out, how do you get outside of your base as Dienmax? And by the time you get out, we already see Castro has started taking the left side. He's probably going to have the entirety of the left side. So really, Dienmax, he's on a clock to get out of his base, but I just don't know if he can get out.
If he does bust out and Castro is under-defended, then there's a chance that DMX can just run straight to the 3rd base and, bowl it over. But something tells me that, it seems like DMX is just killing it. He's crushing the economy. He almost has the same number of drones as the workers as the Protoss player. So that is, maybe something that should not happen there. And similar to when we were watching Crossy play yesterday, I have a feeling the supply count is not going to be in the Protoss favor very often. So gets not very good storms, honestly, but does actually clear out most of the Zerg outside of the natural. So now DMX can start to be thinking about, okay, how do I get this 3rd base up? And luckily, because of the spawn locations, it's going to be even farther away. Now that's a good storm, taking out most of the Hydras at the front.
This move out, sure, it didn't kill much for the Zerg. It did clear a bunch of space, so it allowed the probe to sneak out. He's taking a 3rd base, which is exactly what he needs. He needs some type of sneaky move to get back into this game. He's got his robotics almost done. Ooh, we're spamming DTs. Not just 3, not just 4. This is like 5 or 6 DTs. Where do they want to go? There's no Overlord. He has no idea that this is happening. There, I'm looking at the left side. There's no Overlord there. At bottom middle, there's no Overlord there. And Zealots are going to make it crazy because they're streaming across the map. We may even see a DT drop into the main. The Robo is building a shuttle.
Dude, this is going to be so good. I have a feeling, and I really want, there's this really sick, oh man, I'll never forget. There's a highlight video of BSU doing this where he'll set 5 DTs just in position, and then he'll send all of them in all at the same time. And you know how hard it is to make sure that you're defending 5 separate bases from DTs running in? So crazy. For example, there's no Overlord at this far base at the 8 o'clock location. There's no Overlord at this base that Zealots are killing down at the 6 o'clock location. So that base is pretty dead if he focus fires it. And yeah, there it is. So the Zealots get a nice hatchery kill. They're probably going to get a few extra bonus ones. There's also no Overlords at the 6 o'clock base, the other 6 o'clock base, the 5:30 base, if you want to call it that. There's also no Overlords, it's a common trend, at the main base. So there's just plenty of real estate for these DTs to get damage done.
Yeah, I think DMX may actually come back into this game. Here comes that shuttle to the main. The Hydra does see it, but does he really see it? Like you said, there's nothing in the main, no Overlords, no Sunken. Oh, he did see it. He's instantly pulling drones, but where are the Overlords? I don't see them any. They're all at the bottom middle base. Meanwhile, we do have a counterattack, but we've got Storm available. We've got a lot of cannons, remember? And BasTrO still doesn't know about top middle.
Oh, look at this. The DTs are coming through, but they can actually get into some of these like hard to reach locations. It's only Zerglings, and DTs are not actually that bad against Zerglings in low numbers. Now, the Hydras are going to be able to actually deal quite a bit of damage here, but the DTs should survive at least in some form or fashion. Actually, no, they're going to run themselves into a corner and all die, so that was actually a lot easier for BasTrO to clean up than I expected. I thought he was going to split the DTs to different locations.
Yeah, I thought he was going to split them up also, and these 2 DTs he has at the front, I thought for sure while that was happening he's going to send it to mid-left, but not the case, and actually BasTrO's a little worried about an incoming push, so he backs off, leaves 1 lurker for a little bit of damage, but Dienmax still top middle unscouted, and he's feeling so confident in his current state, he's going to take another hidden expansion to top left, and BasTrO, he's powering extremely hard. He's got double evolution chamber. I saw he upgraded drops. Also, he's got his queen's nest. He's building hatcheries all over the place. He's building a ton of sunkens. But I do think he needs to start building a bit of units because Dienmax is starting to get big.
Yeah, BasTrO with the supply lead, which is in general not supposed to happen. Usually, the Protoss is supposed to stay up in that regard. But also, Protoss should be... Okay, yeah, he is expanding to the upper left-hand corner. So, both players trying to take their half of the map, and there are ways where Gladiator can get split in two. The only problem is that I feel like for DMX, he does need to kind of get out on the map and do something, because you just can't let BasTrO macro forever. It's not going to be fun, I promise.
Yeah, BasTro's starting Hive, and once his Hive kicks in with double upgrades with 10 hatches, he's just going to be a nightmare to deal with. And we're waiting for BasTrO to unload this drop that he has sitting outside of the natural of Dienmax. As soon as Dienmax just shows himself, there he goes, there goes that drop. How many probes is he going to get? Oh, instant reaction. Very nicely done from Dienmax.
Wow.
For sure, he's going to lose a ton there. But here comes Dienmax trying to bust through these sunkens. There's a lot of lurkers, though. I don't know how well this is going to pan out for him.
Needs another Storm on those Lings killing the Archon. A lot of times you can use the morphing Archon as Storm bait, but actually killing off all of those Lings, there's not that much army left here for BasTrO, at least in fighting location. Those lurkers are still denying mining in the main. Finally, an observer gets over there, but there's not actually all that much there to kill off the lurker, main and natural. No mining in either place.
Yeah, and all this is doing is just buying BasTrO the time he needs to get up all those important upgrades. He started +2 on his evolution chambers. Adrenaline is halfway done. He's got all of his econ kicking in. He's got basically even amounts of workers. And that lurker, is it just really just going to escape to top middle?
No way. The little lurker that could. Aww. The tale is old as time.
Based on how short that attack was from the goon, I am a little worried that maybe Dienmax missed range, because I thought for sure those Dragoons were just going to kill it. So that may be... Whoa, what's this? I just looked in the gateway. We've got an Arbiter Tribunal, and it's halfway done. So Dienmax is going to go for a recall at some point. Here comes another lurker drop to the natural.
Man, yeah, you don't see Arbiters in PvZ very often at all, so this is really kind of special. The Lurkers, though, continue to just be a nightmare to deal with. Built a couple cannons, my man. I mean, he does have them at the front, but not where these Lurkers are, so continuing to shut down this natural expansion is so painful. But in response, DMX is going to go for it. There's not a lot defending this base over here. A couple of Sunkens, some Lurkers in the back, but there's plenty of observers where that came from.
Oh God, look at how big BasTro's army is, and there's no way DMX can reinforce. Look at this, just non-stop pink moving across the map. DMX is not where you want to fight into Sunkens with lurkers behind it, and he's just getting massively flanked by Lings and lurkers in the back. Meanwhile, drop at the natural at top middle, killed all these probes. What? He's just getting smacked?
Yeah, this is as one-sided a fight as I could have imagined. All of a sudden, that's it. DMX taps out and BasTrO bops him. Now, not a bop as in that was a one-sided game, but man, when it ended, it sure ended, Nyoken.
It sure ended indeed. And at top middle, BasTrO did a drop at the same time. The lurker had 26 probe kills. Crazy multitask from BasTrO that game. He was everywhere.
That's my face. What's that meme with like the little girl who like is unsure about something? She just has that like very skeptical like face. I don't know about that one. Somebody tweet that meme at me at Rapid Casting, and I'll give you like an imaginary internet point or something. That's gonna do it for our opening game there. I don't know what to I didn't know what to expect from the series, but I think it's safe to say that BasTrO, he's got something special in mind. That macro is actually crazy. You could tell as soon as he had Dienmax pinned in his base, he was just like, I can build 5 hatcheries right now. So you're right. He loves building those hatcheries. He did exactly that game.
Yeah, it looked like a convincing win for BasTrO, but you have to remember that the opener was not the most ideal for...
Yeah, for sure.
And remember, those 7 Zealots that just waltzed across the map and got a hatchery kill, and then we had a DT follow-up into the main. If BasTrO didn't have such a huge lead, I think for sure Dienmax could have won that game, because I was constantly looking at the natural and the third base for BasTrO, and every time I looked, it was just like so many drones and so few units. And I thought, wow, is Dienmax really going to come back? So if he didn't have such a disaster opening, I really do think that BasTrO was powering a little bit too hard.
Yeah, I think BasTrO did get a little greedy, and he wasn't punished for it. So, sick. You picked the right moment to get greedy. That's actually a really... I don't know. That's one of those like double-edged sword qualities to have as a player, because if you're really good at knowing when you can get greedy, that's what makes the best pro players, because they know when and where to cut the corners. But it's also what makes the absolute terrible trash players that you meet on the ladder, because they don't know when they do it, and then they randomly do it in the right time. They're like, wow, they don't get punished this game. Sick, you won the game. Wow, you're so good. But then, of course, they lose 5 other games because they just do dumbass shit that they don't know when they can do it. So sorry for all of you 12-year-olds watching that don't know what that word means. Ask your parents, they'll tell you. Let's get into the next game. It's Neo Sylphid for our second map. And yeah, I guess Dienmax needs to figure out some way to not get either pinned in his base or something. I don't know, because once BasTrO has that contained down, very, very hard to deal with it. So let's get into it. Game number 2 on Neo Sylphid. All right, here we are on the map. Neo Sylphid in the bottom left-hand corner in the navy blue, which means that I can't actually see his player ID on the screen because it's too dark on the black. But this is Dienmax or DMX or DNX or DM, whatever. It's that guy.
And in the bottom right, we've got the Black Zerg. It is BasTrO. And so I wonder if DMX is just going to continue to go with what he went for last game, or are we going to see a completely different style? Well, probe is going out now. Oh, is it going to be in-base pylon? I was wondering if we're going to have a 2-gate. There it is. Yeah. Oh, he watched Bonnet yesterday.
Dude, I could watch Bonnet 2-gate. Those games were sexy. Oh, he stood outside his opponent's base with like 5 zealots and then 7 zealots, and he's like, oh, I have enough zealots now, and he just killed him. And I'm just like, wait a second. Your opponent knows exactly how many units that you have. He knows what you can do and what you can't do. And I go, apparently not. It was oh my God, so sick. So yeah, I love it. I love it. I want some more of it. This is gonna be good. Can't wait.
And BasTrO does open with Overpool, and I wonder if DMX is going to go for the second gate, or are we going to see tech? Remember, yesterday Bonnet did double gate both games, but they were followed up differently. One game we expanded, one game we tech. This is going to be a second gate, so Dienmax is going to be aggro, and BasTrO, I don't think I've ever seen someone 2-gate him, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds to this.
Either way, it's going to take a lot of really, really good micro. I was thinking about this. I was wondering, when Peruvian players play other Peruvian players, do they both play at turn rate 8? Like, is that how the math works on that? Maybe. All I'm trying to say is, when the micro comes from the 2-gate, we're going to get the answer to that question. So this is the only way that we can find out. We've set up a scientific double-blind study of BSL matches, and now we can compare compare when they play versus other players versus when they play versus themselves. So let's check it out. We've got the scouting probe coming through, gonna see the natural hatchery, and also the other drone was trying to come out there as well. But the Zerglings just say, right this way, sir. Let it right on into the main. And so everything, all will be made clear, rather, as this probe gets in and sees everything.
Last game, BasTrO made 8 lings initially, even though he saw the forge opening. Therefore, I'm not really too worried about BasTrO overpowering in the beginning, and he is smartly building more lings. And we do have Dienmax moving out. He's also bringing a probe. This time it is going to be a Nexus follow-up. No tech this time. Meanwhile, BasTrO putting down his 3rd hatch. I am somewhat surprised it's not at the entrance to go for a little bit of a Sim City.
Yeah, kind of rare to see a macro hatch versus a Protoss. Usually, Zerg players put it at a base, like at this, say, forward location. But obviously, it's much safer back there, and if that's all you need it for units, then sure. And here comes the effect of that 2-gate. 3 Zealots, a dastardly probe moving forward. There's already a sunken morphing. It's about halfway done. Gotta protect that against all these Zealots.
Yesterday, we saw both Crossy and Jaeyoon respond to the double gate with fast gas. BasTrO not going for it this time. This time, he's just continuing to build mass ling, and because of this, Dienmax really is not going to get punished. And this is a lot of lings to build. If we take a look at the worker count, look, it's 20 to 10. That's a sizable probe difference. Nexus is going up. I'm really liking Dienmax's position. He even canceled his forge because he saw, I guess, that there was no gas in the main. He's not really too worried about a ling run by. So I'm loving how Dienmax is transitioning out of this.
Yeah, this is, man, I always wonder what the right amount of pressure is to put on. And obviously, you have to be really careful, because if you just run your Zealots in and they die, then obviously that is somewhat subpar. So he's going to get to the ramp, but unfortunately it's not tight on the ramp, so this is going to be really, really difficult. Losing all of those Zealots and the scouting probe. Now all of a sudden, it's not only a dark, scary wasteland out there on the map, but you have nothing to defend back at home except for your Zealots.
Well, Dienmax may be regretting canceling that forge, because BasTrO's continuing to build lings. And now that we're mining gas, speed is going to kick in. But look at the perfect Zealot count. 4 at the top, complete wall with the forge.
Wow.
1 at the bottom. He just needs really 1 probe to match these Zealots at the top, and he should be able to hold this overwhelming amount of lings. Oh, look at this. BasTrO wants to focus down that pylon.
Yeah, ooh. And he's going to get through. No, actually a very flexible kind of wall bending along with the flood of the lings, and the lings are actually unable to break through right as the probes come up just in time to help the Zealots block.
Yeah, really great micro from Dienmax there, and BasTrO's in big time trouble. He spent a lot of larva building those lings, but now he's starting to pump out drones. He's got his lair going. So actually, I'm surprised. The probe count versus drone count is now almost even. So maybe he wasn't as all in as I thought, but that looked like a lot of lings. Now, what does he want to do with this lair? He's got gas going up at his natural. Everything so far, it looks like we may actually have Mutas this game.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Mutas here. I think obviously when your opponent goes 2-gate, they're going to be a little bit slower on everything else because they just put a lot of money into Zealots. Kind of the same principle for Zerg, their larva expenditure. But I also get kind of curious to see what this macro hatch does as the game draws on, because normally you're looking at a Zerg with 3 mining bases at this point.
Yeah, the econ is not going to be going crazy for BasTrO just yet. Dienmax has so many Zealots. Yeah, you have to remember that he's constantly making out of 2-gate. He's at 10 now. He's going to come in here, see there's only 1 sunken, see there's really not that many Zerglings. He may even try to move out right now, which would be nice. It would force out more lings. Definitely force BasTrO on the back foot. And Dienmax, okay, there's the Stargate. I was wondering what the tech is going to be because he's already got double cannon going up in his main. So he must also suspect that Mutas are coming.
Really good read. Stargate only about halfway done at this point, but he's also building Dragoons along with the cannons, so he's getting ready. I think that should be fine as far as the timing concerned, because Mutas are just barely about to be built as Spire nears completion. But Let's see what BasTrO wants to do, because he will need another mining base here pretty soon. He's getting it at the 3 o'clock location. I guess that's better than the forward base, but I think it's actually about to take that one too, right? Where is this drone going?
Well, it's BasTrO. He's probably taking top middle.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of the G5 base up there. It's like, well, we know you're expanding somewhere, but you don't know he's expanding somewhere else.
I'm curious what these goons are about. He's going to try and pick off this Overlord, but he's building a third one, and he's got a Stargate, and he's got Citadel coming up. This is a really funky initial opener from Dienmax. He does get the Overlord, which actually doesn't supply BasTrO at all. And the mutas are coming out, and he's already built 8. This is a big commitment from him.
He's going up to a full control group.
Luckily the Sare's going to intercept the... No, they're just going to run by, and these goons are actually going to help him out. 2 cannons should die to these 9 mutas. Here he comes.
Yeah, here we go. More mutas actually flooding into the flock in the main. Cannons getting focused down. There is a Dragoon there. More cannons being warped in, but now everything is gone. Corsair coming in, and that needs to be dealt with immediately. But the Dragoons moving forward means the mutas have to move backwards.
Yeah, mutas are actually going to be fended off for now. I was getting very worried because right when the mutas came in, Dienmax was supply blocked, couldn't build any more Sares. Sare gets taken out. Now we have 3 goons versus 8 mutas. These mutas will win. GTs are being morphed. They're not even goons to actually help in the air. So BasTrO is coming back in this game. He's focusing down one of the cannons. A Scourger here. Is BasTrO just going to steal this?
I think he is. He's going to position the Scourge over the Stargate, and there's nothing he can do. He's going to have to run that Corsair away instead of saving these vulnerable drones, instead of saving the cannons, which won't be able to come up. The main is in shambles. The mutas have done it.
Yeah, and just now Templars are being morphed, but we don't even know if they have Storm available. Scourge run into cannons, they actually die. But BasTro's running away with it now. He's got his 4 base up and running. He's going to have top middle pretty soon. And Dienmax isn't even doing anything with these Zealots. It's not like he's trying to make it crazy killing a base. DT finally moving out. He's going to find mid-right, which he may be able to shut down now. Here he goes. He's going to try and attack the Natural, but the Natural has 3 Sunkens already set up.
Yeah, Dienmax doing his best to try to use these Corsairs to be annoying, but obviously focusing down the Nexus is priority number 1. And now he comes back, kills off one of the Corsairs. There's only 1 left. Nobody cared that. The Mutas just going to kill everything else in the main, and I wouldn't even blame him for committing more into Mutas, although I think that is probably enough. He doesn't die to the Zealot attack, and that was really the last hope for Dienmax to get damage done on the map.
Yeah, Cybernetics is going to go down. At least range is going to complete, but we don't have any spot to build gateways. And without gateways, you can't make goons. Like, look at the Natural. Assuming the main gets wiped, where do you build? You can't build anywhere. There's really nothing Dienmax can do right now. And this DT was misclicked. He's just sitting in the middle of nowhere. And the mid-right base is so susceptible. Oh, this is so unfortunate.
Wow, this is what we like to call the Cruzago curse. His prediction was in fact correcta. I don't know what to say about Dienmax other than, I mean, his only hope is to like maybe rebuild somewhere else. He's getting a 3rd base, but at this point it's just going to be a 2nd.
He can't even build cannons at his top base because he needs to build gates. He can't build any units right now. And as soon as BasTrO sees that, hey, there's no defense here, he's just going to waltz up there and kill that. And the issue is none of these mutas have died. It's not like he wiped them in and they all got wiped out. They're still alive, so they can just fly anywhere and just kill everything.
Yeah, that's what mutas do best. It's like Tiggers and bouncing. It's just the thing. So now they're gonna completely wipe out the main, and then realize, wait a second, there's a completely undefended base up there. He does know about that. So, wait, he does know about that, right?
I don't think he knows about it yet, but
Really?
Dienmax is... Oh, okay, I guess he does, because here he goes, and this is going to be another anti-timing for Dienmax. It's 2 cannons, 2 more build... the Sare... Well, if he didn't know now, or if he didn't he knows now, because the Sare just debated him into it.
Surprise! There's a base here. Yeah, I would say Dienmax's opportunities to win this game are low, but not non-existent. He's got a DT out there and a Dream. Unfortunately, all the Zerg air units detect except for Muted and Skirt.
This DT is painful because just now the Overlord gets into position. Ooh. And the DT gets taken out. So it was across the map. Look at this. He comes in. Oh, he still doesn't come in, but he's going to get picked off. And he just had so many chances to actually deny this base, and he just instantly dies. And GG, that's brutal.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Oof. That's the one where you don't immediately hit the play again button. Wow. Well, that's going to do it. So congratulations to BasTrO, who really crushed in that series. I didn't expect that at all, but I think he really knew how to play both of the games from the position he got into perfectly. The Muta switch in game 2, and obviously the crazy greed after the soft contain with Hydras in game number 1. Really, really strong play. So I'm actually really excited because we get to see a very strong Zerg player in BasTrO face off against one of the strongest in True Touch in the next game. And, you know, we were both hoping that True Touch got second place out of this group so that he would play Eon Zerg. So if you guys want that to happen, you got to be fans of BasTrO. Ugh, almost said Cruza. Anyway, that's going to do it for our second best of 3. We'll come back. We'll find out which player will be the first player to advance out of Group D and into the round of 8. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.